Hello and happy Tuesday. This is Wendy Lee. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm super excited that you guys are joining me today in my studio for a little bit of paper crafting. So what are we making today? We are going to make this super cute chocolate bar gift card holder. So it's got a little tab in the back, and then you pull the insert out, and I've left room for a note, and then you can just adhere a gift card to the back if you'd like. Cute, right? It looks so yummy, you could just eat it. So I thought this was super cool idea. This was something that I saw that was shared by Carrie Gerard, I think is how you pronounce her name. And so I decided to give it a go and change it up just a smidge, but you know, thought we'd try it. Okay, so do we have anybody with us, and am I in the right place? Looks like I'm in the right place, and yes, you guys are jumping on. Yay! So glad to see you guys again. I appreciate that you come and join me each week while we play. So today we're going to feature the Nothing's Better Than stamp set and coordinating Love You More Than dies. This is a fun one if you've not played with this. I've done a few projects that I've shared using this suite, or bundle, sorry, and I really enjoy it. So hopefully you guys will as well. So cute, so cute. All right, so as always, I will make sure that after the live today that I go back in and update the description so that it's got your complete supply list and all the measurements. So I'll try to tell you measurements as I go, but you know I'm not great at that. Okay, so I am starting off with a 6 3/8 by 5.5 piece of early espresso cardstock. Now I've already scored it at the 3-inch line and the 6 3/8. So I guess if you turned it this way. So you'd go over 3 and then 6 3/8, or 6, sorry, 3 and 6. The whole piece is 6 3/8. So you're ending up with a 3/8 tab on the side there. And so that's gonna fold like that. But what I wanna do before I start messing with that is I wanna go ahead and add some score lines to make it look like the chocolate bar squares. So I'm gonna bring in my Simply Scored. We'll move this card out of the way. I'm going to put this on my Simply Scored, and hopefully you guys can see this all right. I'm going to move this up. It looks like I've got a little space to be able to move this up just a smidge. And hopefully I'm somewhat straight and you can see me. So I actually want to score in this panel here. So, and I want to do it at 1 inch over. So I've got this 3-inch mark lined at the 3-inch there. So I'm going to score at the 4-inch and the 5-inch. So hopefully that makes sense. It's 1 inch and 1 inch is that I'm trying to get to. Now I could flip this over and do it the other way, so I'm right at the 1-inch mark, but I think I'm okay here. So I'm using Simply Scored versus my trimmer because I used my trimmer earlier and I didn't get as good of a score line. I really wanted a nice deep score line. And I'm going about halfway down. I want to go at least 2 inches down. If you go further, that's fine. I just don't want to go all the way to the bottom because I found that then that didn't work real well with the aluminum foil. Oh, and I just realized I didn't grab aluminum foil out of my kitchen for this, for the bottom. We're going to need that. All right, so I've got my second score line. So I'm going to rotate this, and again, I want to score at this 1-inch mark to get the rest of my square, right? And I'm going to stop at that score line, and then I'm going to drop down to the 2-inch mark and stop at that score line. So I end up with this nice little grid. I hope you guys can see that. So I've got my 6 squares in there. Hopefully you can see that. Hey Mary, good to see ya. I see Jean and Amelia and Kay. So glad you guys are joining and commenting. If you do have questions, if I don't catch them during the video, I will definitely go back and answer any questions that anybody leaves me. Okay, so I've got my tab. I've already applied tear and tape to it. You saw me rub it with the bone folder. That just secures it down in place. This is a pressure sensitized tape, so that gives it a nice good adherence. My front is scored with my panels, and this is going to fold over. So on the back, I want to leave a little bit of a thumb divot, whatever you want to call it. A way to easily get the gift card holder or the gift card out of the holder. So before I start putting things together, I'm going to take my 1.5-inch circle punch, and you guys know that our punches lock so that they are in a closed position for your storage purposes, and then you can unlock them to use them, and you slide in from the front. So I'm just going to slide this in. I am centering left to right. So Siri has decided that I'm talking to her. I'm not sure why. So I'm centering left to right, and I'm going about centered on my punch here. So hopefully I'm still on, and I'm going to punch that off. Perfect. So that gives me that piece there. Great. So now I can go ahead, and I want to put some aluminum foil on the bottom here. Now I just realized I forgot to go get some out of my kitchen. I have this little piece here, which is 1.5 inches by 6 3/8. So it's well, actually it's a little short. It's by 6. So this is actually for the top of the wrapper. So I need a piece for the bottom of the wrapper, which I don't have in here. So I'm gonna skip it, but what I would be doing is taking about a 1 inch by 6 3/8 piece of aluminum foil, and I would adhere it to the bottom just with some Stampin' Seal, and I would fold it over so that I get a nice clean edge, and then I would assemble this. So I'm going to leave it off because I am not going to make you wait for me while I run down the hall to get some aluminum foil. I had it on my list and obviously forgot it. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and close the bottom of this and put some Stampin' Seal on that. You could use the tear and tape if you prefer. And then I've got my tab here that I want to give a really good crease to. And we'll remove that tape. And I'm going to close this up. So I'm creating a little pouch here. And let's go ahead and rub that with the bone folder really well. So that is my back. It's got my little tab. And then my front with my score line. So I've created a pocket. And again, you would have aluminum foil glued to the bottom of here like I did on this one if I'd have remembered to bring some out of the kitchen. So hopefully that doesn't cause too much confusion. All right, so next I have cut 6 little squares that are 3/4 by 3/4 out of early Espresso. And I've already put a dimensional dot on the back of them. But I am going to take these and I'm going to place them in the center so they look like, you know how the chocolate bar has those little squares, the raised chocolate, right? So we're going to go ahead and put these on here and more or less center them inside the squares. I like that deeper score line. So see my original sample, I used my trimmer to do the score line. So I don't think they're as visible as it is when you use the Simply Scored and use that stylus to do it. So it gives you a little bit better impression, which I think is fun. Hey, Paula, so glad you're here. All right, one more. I'm a little crooked on some of them, but here, we'll twist that a little bit. There. Cool, right? All right, so now let's make our wrapper. So I am using the plaid tidings paper. I used this paper pack last week, and I love it. So I thought I'd bring it back in again. So I have got a piece that is 6 inches by 4 inches, and I've scored it at 3, so right in half. You could just fold it in half, and that would be fine as well. And of course, I grabbed my paper snips and moved them to the other side of the table. So I'm going to grab another pair that are handy. At least I didn't have to go to the kitchen for that. And I am going to snip about a 1/2 inch down on the side. And this doesn't have to be exact, it's fine. And then I'm going to snip the center a little further, maybe about 1 inch or so down. And then same thing here. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's okay. So then I want to take this and I want to tear along that top edge. So at the top, I'm going to tear down in a V towards where I just snipped, and then back up to that side, and I'll repeat it on the other side, down to that V, and then tear this back up. All right, so I'm going to rough up that paper. I'm going to fold this over a little bit. I may have to tear that slit a little bit more to get it to do what I want it to do. So I'm just squishing the paper. That's a technical term, right? Squishing the paper. And crumpling it up so it looks like I have literally just torn into this chocolate bar. All right, cool. Let's see if I can get that to come down just a bit more in that center. I'm gonna rip it just a bit. I don't think it hurts to rip it. All right, that's what I want. I know that looks weird, but that's what I want. Okay, So then on the back, I'm going to take this piece of aluminum foil that I've got. I probably could have used this on the bottom too, but I want to make sure I have plenty. I'm going to run a bead of the Stampin' Seal. And I am going to do shiny side up, because that's how a chocolate bar would be. And I'm just going to lay that right on that adhesive. Now, I'm going to rip this, and it's okay to rip it. So here again, I'm going to crinkle it and rip it down so it looks like the wrapper that's right on my chocolate. Cool? And then that's going to fold over. Neat. I like it. I think it's fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and extend this. So I found that when I wrap this around, because it's the same size, that I end up with this gap over on the side and it doesn't look so nice. I could have cut it and done it flat and not wrap it, but I thought it looked nicer if it was wrapped. So to give me a little extra length there, this is where the 1 inch by 3.5 inch piece comes in, and I've folded it in half. So I'm just going to add some Stampin' Seal on both sides of this score line here, or fold line. And I'm going to go ahead and place this in on the side. Now, it might be a little bit long, and that's okay. I can cut that off the bottom. But the important thing is to get it on the top, and I'm going to come out ever so slightly, because I think I'm going to need it to be a little bit longer. So we'll just clip that off the bottom where we don't need it. And then this is going to wrap right around my chocolate bar here. So I'm going to place it where I want it. And of course, if I'd have done the aluminum foil, I'd remembered to get it, this bottom would have aluminum foil on it, so it would look like the candy wrapper. And then I'm going to pull this over and adhere that in place. So I've got a little seam over there. Pull this down a little bit more. All right, cute. So that's how I got around the shorter length of the designer paper. All right, so let's go ahead and decorate the rest of it. So I've got a 1 inch strip by 3.5 inch piece of Whisper White, and I'm gonna pull in this new punch. So let me make sure I remember the name of this. This is Pick a Banner, Banner's Pick a Punch. Did you guys miss this? I totally missed this punch. It's in the new mini catalog, and it is on page 65. I'll pull it out and show you. So it's this catalog that I'm referring to, and it's on page 65, right up in the corner. I completely missed this punch, but it's awesome, and I'm so glad I got it. I use the triple banner punch, the larger banner punch, all the time. And so I love having one that works with the narrower widths as well. So I like to write on my punches. I cheat, and I wrote that it's for 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch so that I didn't have to measure it every time. And I'm just sliding this cardstock in all the way. You can flip it over if you want to. And I'm punching that. Perfect. And I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other end. Now, I wasn't having any problem with using this punch without flipping it over. Oh, and I say that, and then I did it. Look at that. I got it crooked. So that's okay. I'm going to put it back in. We'll flip it over. We'll see what I did wrong. That's what I did wrong. So we'll just cut that little bit off, and now I'm centered again. So you can flip it over and check it. Of course it does that when I said I didn't have any problems with it. That's how life goes, isn't it? All right, so let's bring in our Cajun Craze ink, and I'm going to add the sentiment, "You're just like." If I can do it without doing it upside down. Let's see if we can get in here. And I'm going to do it right up at the top. Hopefully I'm somewhat straight and centered. Great. We'll stay with that. And then I want to add the die cut chocolate. So I have got, where did I put those dies? Oh, there they are. All right, so I'm going to take the chocolate off of here. And I've got a piece of, I think it's 1 1/4 by 3. So 3 inches by 1 1/4 inch early espresso. And I've already applied some adhesive sheet to the back. You don't have to do that, but when you do that and then you die cut these intricate layers, it's going to create a sticker out of it. So then you'll be able to just peel and stick it down. You won't have to use your fine tip glue or your liquid glue. It's just a little bit quicker, I think. So that's why I do that. So I'm going to place this on here and run that through my die cutting machine. And then I've got my little sticker. So all I have to do is peel the backing paper off of this, if my hands will work today. Some days they work, some days they don't. Might not be the day for me. My arthritis is bothering me just a bit today. All right, we'll pick a different spot on the letter and see if I can get it off. Worst case scenario, I pull out my take your pick and get it. There we go. Got it off. All right, so I'm just going to lay this out towards the bottom and somewhat centered. I don't like to push it down all the way. I like to just kind of dry fit it a little bit here, and then if I really am unhappy with it, I can pull it back up, but I'm going with it, so I'm going to push it down. Great. Love it. And then we'll go ahead and adhere this to the front. So you can use the plain dimensionals. You can use, I'm using the black ones because that's what was here and what I used on the back of the Espresso cardstock. So you use what makes you happy. You could use minis if you prefer. It's up to you. And I'm just going to center that banner right across there. Cute, right? All right, so let's create the inside. So I've got a piece of Whisper White. I believe this is 5 inches. Yes, 5 by 2 3/4. And we're going to go ahead and stamp on this. So let me grab a scrap piece of paper because I'm going to do some stamping off. So let's pull in our early Espresso cardstock. And we're going to pull in the chocolate images here. So I'm going to do the detail image first, I think. I don't know if it really matters the order on this particular one. So I'm going to stamp this one full strength in the early Espresso so I get a nice dark outline. And then I'm going to stamp the second one, which is the filler. I'm going to stamp it off. So I'm going to stamp it on my cardstock or my scrap paper first. And then hopefully I'm somewhat centered on this. It's hard to see on a video like this, but we're going with it. Yay, I got them in. I'm happy. Could have been way, way off, but that's okay. And then I bring in my Cajun Craze and add the sentiment that says you make everything better. Just like chocolate, right? Nice. Alrighty. So then that's done. So again, you can add a little note if you wanted to. You could put, I've got this cute little candy. I could put this little coffee candy on there and send that way. Or I could do like I did on my original sample, and I just used some glue dots and adhered a gift card to the back of it. So it's a little gifty item. So then this just slides right down into the pouch. And again, you've got this pull tab to make it really easy to get out. Cute, right? So it loses something without the aluminum foil at the bottom. Don't you think it's better with the foil? Because then it really looks like a wrapped candy bar. I think it's cooler. I'll have to see if I can mock that up later and fix it so it looks like it has the foil on it. So I hope you guys love that. I did have, before I go today, Diane ask me in one of my posts yesterday about the baby bows that I tie. So I want to show you guys that. I've shown this a couple of times, and I didn't use ribbon on today's project. But I wanted to show you how I do the baby bows for those that haven't seen me do it. So I like to leave my ribbon on the spool when I do my bows. You don't have to. You can cut it if you want to. I find that if I have 8 or 9 inches or so to work with, that helps. But I'll save ribbon if I leave it attached. So what I do is I create the 2 loops, kind of like bunny ears, crisscross them, and then I take one through and up in that hole and pull it tight. Now that doesn't look so great. Actually, it's not too bad. But what I do is I hold this knot and I'm going to pull these loops in small. And I hold the knot because it keeps it tight so it doesn't just fall apart. And then I can pull it back again. And so I'm a little smaller. And then I can continue to do this until I am happy with the shape and the size of the bow. So see, I've got this pretty small for this. This is not an easy ribbon to make little. That ribbon that I used on the sample that Diane asked me about was the 1/4 inch white. Let me grab it so I can explain it because I'm not saying it well. But it's a super thin, easy ribbon to tie, so you can get really small bows with it. So this is the that Whisper White ribbon that was on the sample that she was asking about. So this one's super, super easy to tie and get a small bow. But that's all I do. And this took some time, some practice. The first time I tried it didn't look so good, but now I do them all the time. And when I do classes that have baby bows and you get packets from me, I always tie your baby bows if I can. So I don't want to make anybody have to do that. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh yeah, Mary, it looks like real chocolate. I think so too. I love it. I'm going to bring that back in. It just looks so yummy. You know, and you could change the color. You know, I went for a dark chocolate, but you could change the color to maybe soft suede and then it look a little bit more like milk chocolate, which would be fun as well. Oh, yeah, Diane, it looks easier. Well, I don't know if it's easier than what you were trying to do. It's just something that works for me. So I'm going to show it one more time. We're going to make those 2 loops, crisscross them. One goes through the little loop there, pull it tight. Now see, that's not very pretty, but we're just going to work it. I'm going to pull that knot. Some ribbons are harder to do than others to pull the knot. So I got a little crazy there. That one came loose. And I've found that depending on the ribbon, it might change the way I hold the knot. So sometimes I have to put my fingernail down in there and let it slide. And other times I can just hold the knot itself. This one I've got a little bit of a fraying going on. But like this ribbon is the easiest ribbon, I think, to tie small bows with. It's just so soft and easy, and look how fun that is. So you can get a small bow in there really, really quickly. The other great thing about this ribbon is that you can color this with blends and change it to any color you want to change it to, which is fantastic. So then you have ribbon for all your projects, no matter what color you're going to use. All right, one more time, I'll bring these back in. I hope that you guys love this and have fun making your own milk chocolate and dark chocolate bars to pass out this year. Fun birthday project, I think, or just to let somebody know you're thinking of them. So, all right. Thank you guys for joining me. Again, I'll put all the supply lists and cut dimensions in. And if you'd like to place an order, you shop at CreativeLeeYours.com. And I've got host code KAHPN6AG going on right now. And if you've got questions on anything, make sure you ask and I will come back and answer the questions. So leave me comments, share with your crafty friends, and if you're watching on the replay, I hope that you will subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, and see you guys next Tuesday for some more crafting fun. Bye now.